Okay, so you are
Okay,
host
thanks,
again.
Harry.
So,
Perfect, no problem.
thank you. Bye-bye.
No,
Take care.
bye-bye. Right, welcome everyone to our class today. We are going to be doing how to do some boredom busters with moving toys. So let's begin. I'm not sure how many will be joining us, but let's go. For those who are live streaming, welcome. Be wonderful if you would join us by registering, and then you can actively take part in the class. Thank you, Lester, for being with us today. It is wonderful to have you there to help. Let's go. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we can begin our boredom busters for kids. But this time we have got our moving toys, because moving toys are so important. When you've made something and it just stands, it's fun for a while. But if you've made something and it moves, it lasts 10 times longer than something that just stands. So today, let's have a look and see what we can build and what we can make to get the children's eyes wide open and let them have some fun. In Get Set Up, we learn from each other, and ideally we can see, if I see you on camera, that's great, but if I can hear you, that's equally good, because it is a time for us to share ideas. If you want a recording, please request it after the class. Live streamers, welcome. And if there's anything that I mention as a product, it's certainly only something I use. Right. Now, a little bit about me. I live in Perth, Australia. I come from South Africa. I lived there for 63 years before I moved to Australia 3 years ago. I enjoy creating and making things. I've been an educator for a very long time, 44 years. I have a great love of animals, and I really enjoy being a Get Set Up guide. Now, our agenda is theme ideas. We're going to build rockets. We're going to make catapults and crossbows. We're going to do a little bit about vehicles, but that is for a completely different class. We're going to do monster munchers, robotic arms, and domino engineering. So, looking at what we've got in front of us here, we have got a marble run. You can make a small one. Mine's a mini one because I need it to be able to be seen. All you do is take popsicle sticks, break them, cut them into different sizes and shapes, and then put them into a pattern to make a maze or marble run. Remember to always make sure that the gaps you leave are big enough for your marble to be able to fit through, otherwise it's not going to work. At the end, you can make a hole, and the idea is to take the marble from the top down to the bottom and out through the hole. You can also ask them to get the marble into a set place. For example, I have a little gap up here, and I can ask them to go in and leave the marble up at the top there. Now they've got to work a way of moving their marble around. If you are worried about marbles and them swallowing marbles, use M&Ms or any of the sweets that are around that they can eat afterwards and suck afterwards if you are worried about that. So there is your first of your moving things, your moving marble run. There are many different ways of making marble runs. Now, we're going to do an introduction to creating toys. There are hundreds of toys you can make. We're going to use balloons and tapes, sucker sticks, bottle tops, and just using those few things, you can create hours of fun. You need some scissors, some elastic bands, straws, tape, sucker sticks and pegs, earbuds, buttons, split pins, paper fasteners, and Google Eyes. Google Eyes bring it to life. So, looking at some of these, we're going to be looking at them shortly. Now, one of the easiest and simplest and so much fun moving toys is to use a balloon. You take your balloon, you blow your balloon up, and then with some tape, you attach your balloon to your ball. Now, this is where the children can experiment. The longer the straw, the more stable your rocket. The shorter the straw, the more unstable, and it doesn't work as well. I've used a short straw purely for storage purposes, but if I were to make it to be used, I would use a really nice, big, long straw. Probably about that length straw would be perfect for the size of the balloon. And then you thread the straw through your thread. Is my thread gone? I lost my thread for a second. Take your thread, any kind of thread will do, and you just push your straw through your. So you need to make that tight, otherwise it's not going to go through. You push it through the balloon. If you've got a narrow straw, then it's a little more difficult to thread than if you've got a fatter straw. Now, you attach that to anywhere at the other end of the house. When you let go your straw, your balloon will fly straight up. Mine doesn't because I'm holding it it must be a nice tight string that you are working on. And your balloon rockets to the top. The children can have races to see whose balloon goes the furthest. If you only blow up your balloon a little, it only goes a little. If you blow your balloon really big, it'll fly right to the top of wherever you are doing, and you can see whose balloon goes the fastest. You can certainly use thick and thin straws. I've got a thicker straw on there, and you can discover whether a thin straw or a thick straw gives it more stability and more speed. So it's a fun exercise and using their logic to work out things. The second one we have here is again another shooter. You take 4 of your popsicle sticks and some elastic bands. You glue 2 popsicle sticks together and then 2 other ones together. You put them near the second set near the top of the first popsicle stick on the back. You glue it on nice and strong. You then glue on 2 buttons on either side. Those are so that the elastic band can go round it, and you put your straw on the front. Now, taking your earbud, you put an earbud through the straw, and then you pull your elastic band. If you want, don't want my thing to fall out. Your elastic band goes across the bottom, round the peg, and all the button does is keep it from going into the center, and then bring it back and lodge it either at the back or just behind your straw when you are storing it. Now, when I want to use it, I take this back with my finger. I take it as far back as I can with my, because I've got to pull it back. I don't want to lose it. Nicely back. Right, I've pulled it back with the earbud. There's my earbud. It's inside the launcher. I turn it sideways and I release, and it's gone down the passage very, very quickly. The reason that you use earbuds, they can't hurt people. So if you're using earbuds, they're nice and soft, and you can shoot them back and have races to see who, or challenges to see whose one shoots the furthest. The stronger your elastic band, obviously, the further it will shoot. Little children, I would use softer elastic bands. You don't, because it is quite a challenge to pull this all the way down and keep it. So using your discretion as to which elastic band they build with will allow you to have a really nice toy to play with. You can also build little rockets. A piece of straw at the top. I've just used pretty sticky paper, taken some pretty sticky paper, put it over the top, bound it all the way around. You don't want the air getting through because that's how it's going to fly. So no air allowed in at the top. At the bottom, I've just glued on some felt or foam rubber, a little bit of foam rubber. This one actually was an old cutting board. You get like 5 in a pack and you can only use 1 at a time. So 1 I've used to cut up. You can have 3 fins or 4 fins on your rocket. It's purely for aesthetics and to allow you to be able to see that it can stand. Now, when I want to use it, I take a straw. I put my straw inside. I think I'm going to use, this one's probably better. Hi, Kim. Nice to have you. Right. I take my straw. This one is too big. I need a smaller straw. I'm going to use. Okay. Let's just make my straw smaller. There we go. I put my straw inside my rocket and I blow as hard as I can. Oh, this one, of course, won't because I've made the straw smaller. That's not going to work. The straw's got a hole in it. That also is not going to work. I should have had a smaller straw. I've got smaller straws in the other room, but I don't have them here. But what you do is you put your smaller straw inside your big straw and you blow, and off goes your rocket. It takes straight off into the sky, and the kids love it. Simple, easy to make, easy to have. So lovely thing to have in your class and be able to let them go. If you're into origami, this is a very easy, simple paper fold that you can do. There's, I think, 5 folds altogether to make it. And once it's ready, you pop it open with your fingers. And again, you put your straw into it and you blow it off the ground. You have it on the ground. Put your straw in underneath. Off goes your rocket. And another lovely rocket for the children to make. First doing the paper folding, and it's simple paper folding. And then you can do it with brightly colored paper. You can do it with wrapping paper that's left over. You can do it with cardboard. You can turn it into anything you like. They can decorate it the way they want. They can paint it. And so they create their own rocket and then shoot their rocket. So those are just 4 of the different rockets you can make. Now, we've got catapults and bows and arrows. Now, catapults are great fun as long as you are careful as to what you shoot. Obviously, if you shoot something that's going to hurt someone, then it's not an option. My grandchildren know that they use anything that's soft and anything that cannot harm. If they hurt somebody, the toy or whatever we built is then just removed and they can't play with it again. So if they want to keep it and use it, they choose some of the soft things. They've got their choice, but they can choose them. The first bow and arrow you can make is just a popsicle stick. What I've done is made a little groove on both sides at either end just to hold my string into it. Put my string on and tied a knot in my string. And now I am ready to pull my beautiful let's take one of the rounder ones. I think that's a nice one. Take that, you put it into your bow. You have it turn it sideways. I put it inside here, pull it back as far as I can and release, and it's gone. It went flying. The little ones, the earbuds work the best. They fly beautifully. If you put your earbud on and, oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not holding it correctly. And go. Wow, there it goes. It's gone up the passage. So that's another easy bow and arrow. The one in your top right corner is for older children and under supervision. Using a piece of tubing, you can turn it into a wonderful bow and arrow, but be careful what you use as your arrows and make sure there's a set target they are shooting at, not at each other. You can also build catapults. Catapults are great fun to build. They're so easy to make. All you do is you take your, again, popsicle sticks, three popsicle sticks joined together in the middle to make a nice big releasing mechanism, and then put one popsicle stick above and one popsicle stick below. Join them together with elastic bands across at the top and at the bottom. And then all you do is put one of your bottle tops at the top. Now you can release anything. You can release cotton buds. You can release marshmallows. You can release, I have a little baby koala here, and my little baby koala can sit inside, and I can pull this ready and release. He's gone. And up he goes and down he goes. And no, dog, you can't eat it. And so it's a lovely one to do and release and go. So that is a third type of thing to do. You can also build different shaped catapults using your popsicle sticks. And again, just on the top, you need to put a lid, and you can have little balls, you can have Smarties, you can have anything. And if it's in a clean surface, they can shoot their Smarties and eat their Smarties afterwards. They have great fun playing. You can do it also in a shoebox and release it with an elastic from the back, release it up using 2 pencils in that one. So again, you can use what you have around the house in order to do it. Now, your wheels and axles. I do a whole class on wheels and axles, so I'm not going to be putting a great deal of emphasis on our wheels and axles. Toilet rolls are wonderful cars. You can put any axle inside. Usually a skewer is your best axle to make holes in your toilet rolls, listen to me, your bottle tops. Put your bottle tops on a secure surface, and then taking a nail, just with a small hammer, just hit it with that hammer until it goes through. Some people use scissors, but I refuse because the kids can cut themselves with those scissors. So a nail is much easier, and particularly if you get small hammers. If you have a small hammer, it works so well with a baby hammer. Just grabbing my baby hammer that's wandered off now. There it is. I've got a really small hammer. In fact, it's a pen, but it works beautifully. You hold it, you hit it, it's nice and firm. It's a hard, it hits hard enough, and it is able to then put the nail through. And even if they hit their finger with it, they're not going to do too much damage along the way. So using a small hammer, they can make their own holes. They need to measure or make a mark, because otherwise their car is going to go at a very interesting angle. You can also, for your wheels, if you want to make them really look good, not use one, but use 2 of the same bottle tops joined together. That then makes it look like a really good wheel. If you've got the 2 together, they then really make it, just finding an extra one, no, don't see one here. By just joining them together, it closes it up and makes it look far more of a professional wheel. You can also use paper plates joined together, and you can then thread through the paper plates, and with a skewer, even a straw, straw will work, skewer will work, piece of wood will work, dowel stick will work, anything that's round and moves and will be able to go over and over and over. Once you've got that done, you are then able to thread round it. As you pull the thread, you can pull the thread fast and it takes off right down. It just releases it, and it's almost like a winding mechanism, and it goes. So that's also a nice one to do. I do teach you in my other moving toy one, how to get your cars to actually move, to use a winding mechanism on them and get them to go. So if you're interested in getting a vehicle moving, this is a good place to start. You can also use an old cotton thread reel. Oh, I'm really talking funny today. With an elastic band through it and a paper clip. You just secure it on the one side with the paper clip. Make sure that it is smaller than the cotton reel. The other side doesn't matter. It can be as big as you like. Wind it up as tightly as you can, let go, and that big thing on the other end will turn. It'll keep twisting and turning and taking that cotton reel, and it'll move. It is quite amazing that something twice the size of the cotton reel will allow it to move. Now, going on to gears and pulleys, using corrugated cardboard is a wonderful way of doing a set of gears. Children wonder how their bikes work. They really do. They think, how does my bike work? How do the gears work on my bike? Can I make a set of gears? Well, you can. And by just making a circle of cardboard, two identical ones, and joining some corrugated card with the corrugation on the outside, not on the inside, you are then able to make your first cog. Once you've got your cogs, you can have small cogs, big cogs, it doesn't matter. And it's very nice to have a variety of size, because then they get to realize that it doesn't have to all be the same. And you put a thumbtack through it and onto another piece of thick card. And then as you twist one, and you make sure that they interlock nicely, just have to interlock in one space. As long as they're touching once, twice is even better, but once is enough. You then can turn any one of the cogs, and that will turn all the other cogs. And they are absolutely fascinated that one turn anywhere in their system will allow all of the cogs to work. You can also do it with bottle tops and popsicle sticks. You just make sure all your popsicle sticks are the same length for the one that is going on each lid. Attach them, and then again, all you do is you twist one of them, and it makes all of them move. And they can go up a wall, down, around, and they create amazing things with their cogs. And they can't believe just how easy it is to get a whole series of things to move with just one twist of your finger on one of them. And so this is fantastic way of starting to teach them all about gears, because so many things have gears inside them that they don't even know. Think of your clocks, think of your watches. They've all got gears inside. Bicycles, of course, have all got gears. And so from learning from a simple thing as working with cardboard, they are able to start understanding their gears. You can also do pulley systems. You start with the child themselves as a pulley. Using around any container, any soft little container, put your string through it. And then on the back, what you do is you find often you'll get things in the post that you are supposed to put onto your fridge. Those are fantastic magnets. You now just cut little pieces of that, or you use a one-hole punch and you punch little pieces out. And those little pieces you stick on the bottom of the container that you're going to be using. Now, under that, you then put some of your paper clips. The child becomes the pulley. He is the string at the top. He lowers it. Ah, there comes Melinda. Hi, Melinda. Lovely to have you in class. You lower the pulley down with your hand. You are now the pulley system. You go down, you touch the magnet, you touch to the paper clips, and you lift up. Now all the paper clips are stuck to the magnets. You are the pulley system. You are lowering and raising. That is your first attempt at being a pulley person. Now you can then take it from there. Take yourself some long roller towel containers. At the top of the roller towel, you cut 2 little grooves. I'm going to actually loosen this one. You cut a groove on either side of your roller towel. And I've put sticky tape over the top to prevent it being able to escape, because I think I cut my little grooves a little big. So I just put sticky tape across the top. I can now thread my straw through it. And then if you go to the haberdashery shop or anywhere that sells ribbon, you either ask them to keep the empty rolls for you, or what I do is I go and see which rolls are almost empty, and I'll buy those rolls, whatever's on that roll, because I use it for a lot of my other create from waste things when I'm decorating them. And then I have got the nice winding container. Then with your string on it, you can unwind it, and then very difficult doing it in the air, but let's go. Now I can wind it up. It winds and winds. They are learning the first thing of a pulley. They are making their own pulley system. They might want to put a bucket on the bottom and put a few stones in the bucket and just have some string. And they wind up their string, and there up comes their bucket and down goes their bucket. They can see how heavy they can make it before it starts to collapse. They can see how many things they can put in it. Can you put in 3 things? Can you put in 5 things? So you can do counting with them. You can do colors with them. Put in all the red things you can find on the table. Do they all fit in your bucket? What would happen if you put a bigger bucket on? Can you put a bigger bucket? Will your pulley system still work? Yes, it will. Surprising, your pulley system can pick up a great weight actually compared to what you think. And so you are building your first pulley system. So humans first, and then you go on to creating and building different ones and different ways of doing things. So that is your gears and pulleys. All right, thank you. Hi, Melinda. Lovely having you in class. Now, let's continue. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Now, for me, this is one of the best things that you can do with children. Very, very simple. Using your old cereal boxes, you can cut strips of paper, cardboard. It must be cardboard. Paper is too soft unless you stick about 10 pieces together. So using cardboard is the best. I use cereal box cardboard. It works like a dream. You cut strips. You can either cut fat ones or thinner ones, and you start to create. But for the younger child, it's a little difficult. So you can do your first lever is your clothes peg. Your clothes peg is a perfect lever. It opens and closes. You draw your shape, cut a line right through your shape, give it some Google eyes, and now my whale can open and close its mouth. They have many hours of fun trying to bite each other and bite their finger and so on. So this is their first type of lever that they work with. Then you go on to a slightly more difficult lever, and this is using your split pins and your cereal. So what I've done is I've got my 3, I've chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. I only used 4 on this one. You can make it as long as you want or as short as you want. You normally put 3 holes in. This particular one I've chosen not to. I've chosen to only use 2 holes and leaving a little bit at the edge for being able to open and close, and the same to be able to put the mouth of my creature on. You put your split pins through, fold your split pins over so that they don't stick out. And now by just opening and closing, my character can now go and bite anything it wants to bite. The longer you make it, the further it's going to be able to go. I have my crocodile. He's a bit bigger, and I have made with 3 split pins. I have a split pin at either end of my piece and a split pin in the middle. And so this one now works the same way. Again, he has a very wide mouth when he's closed, and he has a closed mouth when he is at full stretch. So he opens his mouth and closes his mouth. The children really enjoy making these characters and creatures. You can, depending on the length of your piece of card, you can make him a really long one or a shorter one. Just don't make it too long, because sometimes the cardboard's not strong enough to sustain the length. So just be aware of that. Maybe you need to, if they want to make really long ones, they might need to glue 2 pieces of cardboard together in order to get it to work. But shorter is still fun. They really enjoy making these lever creatures, the monster munchers. Split pins, cardboard, all you require, nothing else. Again, simple and easy. Now, looking at the one in the center, this is now really starting to make them think. You would possibly use it with the older children, setting them a challenge. You want the man to be able to lift his hand and put it in the mouth. But the mouth also opens and closes. Now, these are 2 levers that work in sync with each other. Every time I push this bar up, this one will push this one in one direction and will push this one in a different direction. This one is stagnant. He's staying. He's not moving. He's there all the time. But the top one opens and closes according to whether I pull the string down or push it up. So now they have got to think, how do I get both of them to work? And so that is a challenge for the older children. They can then make all sorts of things that open and close at different times, and pop things into mouths, and put the basketball in the basket, and there's all sorts of things they can design using their imagination. Now, the last of the levers to me is probably the most interesting of the levers. And that is the one where what we are doing is we are now using a robotic arm. You are going to make a hand where the fingers close. What you do is you take your hand, put it onto some cardboard, and draw a shape just bigger than your hand. You mark everywhere where your fingers bend. So on your thumb, there's only 1 bend. But on the other fingers, it's 1, 2, 3. So there's 2 bends on that. Same for the middle finger and the other 2. Once you've done those, you actually bend the cardboard so that it flexes. Obviously, with you pushing it, not by itself. Then what I did was I attached a string to the very top of each finger with some sticky tape and a staple, because I found the sticky tape didn't hold very well. I needed the staple to make sure it stayed. You could probably use a glue gun, or some really strong glue would also work. Cutting small pieces of straw You are then put each one of the little pieces of straw into each of the folds of the hand. 1, 2, 3. But they must be small because you've got to be able to close the fingers. Here is mine. I have put all of my little pieces in. I've glued each one into the space. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I've then taken my fingers. One of the things that I did not do, and I will go back and do it now because I was only making it recently, is you can also put extra pipe ones in here to keep it firm. But you don't have to, because if I pull on each finger, then you make sure that your bends work. You need to make sure that each of your straws is not overlapping the other straw, because then the fingers will not close. But there come my fingers. I can pull down. And what you do is if you use a different color of string for each finger, you will then know which finger you are pulling down and which finger is closing, which finger is opening, or if I'm going to close my entire hand. Oops, I've left one of them out. Which one am I not pulling on? That one? No. That one? No. That one? No. That one? Which one am I not pulling on? There's one I'm not pulling on. Why he's not pulling? Maybe now when I pull, no, he wants to stay up. He's pulling a finger at somebody, which is not very polite. So, but as you pull on them, so they all go in, and you can close your hand and then reopen your hand by releasing the strings. So this is another really nice way of making robotic arms. Children will then adapt it to what they want. And some people have made robotic feet where the toes just curl. Some people have made a robotic arm added onto this so that they've put a broomstick on there, and then they can pull on the broomstick and everything goes, and they can hide around the corner and just put the hand out, and they've covered this with a second piece of cardboard so you can't see the workings inside, and suddenly this hand closes and around somebody or touches somebody, and they get a terrible fright, and they think it's hilarious that they've been able to frighten somebody along the way. So this is a lovely one to play with, experiment with, try out. I did very quickly because I wanted it for the lesson. I'll now go and take my time and build it with different color strings and make sure that each of the different things work well. And in that way, it will really be a stunning thing to be able to show and use. But the children love it. I've done it from year 2. So that's 8-year-olds have been able to build it. They need a little more help than the older ones. The older children, I showed them, I gave them directions and took it away. I didn't leave it for them to look at. If they were really stuck, they could come and ask to have a quick look at it again. But I wanted them to use their own thoughts. When something didn't close, why doesn't it close? Oh, maybe my piece of straw is too big, or maybe my piece of straw is too long. What happens if I shorten it? Or maybe I've shortened it too much because now my fingers don't work. And so by experimentation, they were able to really get their hands to close. It was awesome to see. And when they'd finished, the looks on the faces were the thing that was most impressive, was the excitement. I've created something that moves. And so for them, that was the ultimate mover. Oh, any questions before I go on? Melinda, I know you joined late, but if you've got any questions, I can always go back on the other ones. Right. Now, our last thing that we're doing is a domino challenge. Now, this looks so simple, and yet it gives the children hours of fun. All you need is some, where are they? Pegs and popsicle sticks. That's all you require. Attach your popsicle sticks to your pegs. Put them in quite firmly so that they're quite near the bottom, and you've got them. Make as many as is required, and then they create, first of all, a straight run. And they've got to work out where they need to put them, how far apart, because as they fall over, if they are too far apart, one's going to fall over and nothing's going to happen. And the others are all going to still be standing. So they've got to work out where they put them, because you want to make it as long as possible with the set amount of pegs that they've got. So they go and they build that. They build a straight one. You touch it like a domino, and the whole lot go ding, 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 ding all the way down. You say, that's too easy. Now, I want you to make a curved domino run, one where it goes up, or it goes up a hill or down a little bit. It can't go down too much with these because they would obviously fall over, but you can certainly have some undulation or you have some turning. Now, how do you get it to work? And when you touch it, it's going to turn. Because if it's even slightly too far, that one's going to fall down and the next one is not going to move. So now you've got to get it exactly. So this is a very easy challenge for little ones. They just make it straight and they see how far they can go with their straight one. The older children, you let them do one straight, and then you set them. You can even set a path. You can draw it in chalk on the ground. You can draw it on a board, a piece of cardboard, anything like that. And then you can draw a design that you want them to go. Now, how do I get it to make a domino challenge on this path that's been created? And I always do things before I give it to my grandchildren, because I don't believe in giving something that I can't do to somebody else to do. So sometimes we'll do a challenge where all of us are challenging, and I don't know if it's going to work. And they love that as well. When I say this is an open challenge, I don't know the answer, then they really enjoy seeing if they can create something and say, see, it does work, Gran, we can do this. And so it works with that. And so this is a lovely, easy one. When somebody arrives, somebody can bring a child to you and the child's getting niggly and the child wants to go home. Just take out your popsicle sticks, take out your pegs, and get them to start making. They can do this, or if you go to my building class, you can build the most amazing structures using pegs and popsicle sticks. And children love to build. Right from when they're little, they'll put their blocks on top of each other. They'll try putting things and seeing how high it can go. Will it fall over? That it's an innate thing in children, is the building. And so they then learn as they go along. They've got to have a big base and a small top and so on and so forth. But the initial thing is just to see one block on top of the other. Where do I? Adults play Jenga. Children play Jenga. What are you doing? You're building a tower. You're seeing how many you can pull out of the tower before the whole tower collapses. A game of strategy. This is also a game of strategy. If you tell them, oh, we're going to do strategy today, they all go, ugh, not interested, Gran. But if you say we're going to do a domino challenge, okay, what's the domino challenge? It's how you put what you're doing across to the children that counts. And they will very quickly join in. As I said in my previous class, the one boy didn't want to take part. He's too old to do that, even though his sister, who's 12, was very happy to take part. And he watched for a while. He pretended to be on his iPad. And eventually he said, I think I'll give it a go. So, sure, yeah, here are yours. And he built the most amazing structures because he wasn't forced into doing something he didn't want to do. And as soon as he sees the fun everybody else is having, you don't have to force them into anything. They come and join of their own accord. And if they don't want to do it at first, you sit down and start building. What's Gran doing? That looks quite interesting. I think I'll do it too. And they come and join you anyway. Right. Thank you very much for being part of the class. There will be a feedback at the end. And if you would like to make any comments, any new ideas that you can think of that we can add to it to make it even more exciting and interesting. I must say my lessons change every time, because between classes, I find other things that I think are more interesting than the ones I've already got, and I change. So my presentations change with every class. If you want to get a copy, particularly you, Melinda, you can just request it at help@getsetup.io, and then you can go through all the ones that you missed right at the beginning. We did structures, we did create from waste. We still do more structures, create from waste, science, all sorts of things with the children. And there are many more that can be done as well. At the moment, I have 18 different classes. I'm hoping by May to have 20 classes. So there's something different every day for people to learn, find out, see, add to what they already know. My philosophy is, if you don't learn something every day, you may as well go and curl up in a ball, because you really should, even if it's the smallest thing, that's worth learning for the day. Right. As we've got a few seconds left, Melinda, I'm going to just quickly go back at the very beginning, what I was covering. It's too far now. I covered rockets, and rockets were great using balloons with straw and tape. We built, where's he gone? He's vanished. Oh, he hasn't. He's underneath here. No, he's not underneath here. Oh, he's underneath the others. Built very simply, sucker sticks, two sucker sticks, a straw on the top, an elastic band wound round, and using just two buttons to hold it so that it just doesn't slide into the center, you can put a earbud into it, pull your elastic back with the earbud. Oops, just got to get I've got a very strong string on here, but for little children, I wouldn't use as strong an elastic as I've got here. And you hold it, you release it, and it's gone up the passage very, very quickly. Using earbuds, you can't hurt others. You've also got a little rocket that you can release into the air using just a straw, covering up the top so that no air can get through. Use a smaller straw inside. That's what I didn't have this time. And just giving it some little feet to stand on with a piece of foam rubber, or else a cutting board. Anything you've got that's old, hard plastic works like a dream. You can, the other one's gone. The rocket that's on the paper rocket has gone up the passage. Again, just put your straw into it. It's simple folds, a bit of origami. If you enjoy doing origami, works like a dream. You've got your catapult. Your catapult is also made with popsicle sticks, 3 in the middle to give you a good lever, 2 round the outside, elastic bands to hold it in place, and at the point, I've lost my thing that I released. He's gone. I'll have to release something else. Oh, I've got a marshmallow. Pop a marshmallow in there. No, that marshmallow is long gone. Try that one. Just a little pig. Put it in, hold down, and up it goes, and off it goes. Easy, quick, and simple. Using a popsicle stick pulled backwards. Pull it as far back as you can, make it really tight. You can actually wet your popsicle sticks and shape them into better shapes. And again, using just your earbud, put your earbud in, pull it as far back as you can, and away it goes down the passage. So there are all different ways that you can do. If you're doing the one in the right-hand corner, must be under supervision, because they could hurt somebody with that. But there are simple and easy ones that don't require that. Wheels and axles are just another way of working, different ways of putting things together. And then you joined us at the pulleys. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got anything they would like to say? If not, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Lester, for being with me today. Thank you, Melinda, for joining. Great to have everyone on board. Lovely to see you. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you, Sue.
Pleasure.
Have a great afternoon there in
Thank
Australia.
you. I will indeed. It's time for you to head to bed. Lovely. Thank you, everyone. It was awesome to have you. Thank you, Lester. Lester goes through many classes with me, and it was great having you with me as well, Kim. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.